Now, what do you think is a very good nickname for him? Chicken Kirk or Charlie Cock?
Chicken Kirk works much better.
Oh, what's up, everybody? It is what?
Because he probably doesn't have much of one.
Well, what's up, everybody? It is Zach, the Dark Conservator, and I'm here with the usual Loudmouth reviews. And just a little FYI, I don't have that particularly strong of an opinion about Charlie Kirk overall. I think that as far as Trump humpers go, that it gets worse than him. And I do actually like the one time of where that he debated against Kyle Kalinske and made him look like a whiny bitch, of where that he was all like, "It's nothing, it's nothing." You remember watching that debate? Have you ever watched that
I
debate?
didn't really watch it, but I don't think it's that hard to make Kyle Kalinske look like a whiny bitch. That's what that guy always is.
Very much, but just I remember so distinctly the voice crack that he did of where that he was kind of freaking out at Charlie Kirk. So yeah, don't have particularly strong opinions one way or the other. And I know that I'm a little bit late about this, but I still want to talk about a bit about him saying for people to shut up about egg prices. And it's kind of hypocritical to me because egg prices was like one of the driving things for the right as far as getting Trump back in the White House. And here he is. Trump is getting kind of slow on bringing down egg prices. And he's all like, shut up. I mean, it's one thing if you were to say that leftists are being ridiculous with the way that they're criticizing Trump, like they were turning a blind eye of when that egg prices were so high under Biden. But now with Trump, they're complaining every single day about egg prices, or even to say that there's not much that Trump can do about egg prices because, it's unless if he was to put forth a subsidy or something to get the egg industry back in its regular
which
motion.
They've actually proposed, Trump's agricultural director, and I'm like, fuck that.
Me too.
Absolutely, fuck that. And even worse, they want to repeal state anti-animal cruelty laws in terms of chicken, some of the few that there are.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's one thing if you're to be approaching the left when it comes to them complaining about egg prices in those sort of ways, but to say that they should shut up entirely, that's a rather a bitch move in my opinion, if you ask me. And it's just
Charlie Kirk, I know, is a bitch because look at the tweets he used to say about banning TikTok before Trump changed his position. All of a sudden, he's quiet on the issue. That shows that Charlie Kirk is a fucking bitch.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Bitch.
And I just want to say, as far as the Daily Caller article here goes, did you read it at all, Loudmouth?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay, well, I pre-read it, and there was some informational pieces in this article that were kind of interesting, and I will, for right now, give the benefit of the doubt that maybe Charlie Kirk is not lying, at least not intentionally, anyways. I mean, I'll just give the benefit of the doubt. Not saying that it's for a fact, but within this article, it's not like that he's kind of walking back those shut up demands or anything like that. He's not saying you can criticize all you want, but or something like that. No, he's just leaves a title as clickbaity as it is, and I don't think it's just purely clickbait. I think that he just really wants people to be quiet about complain about egg prices under Trump. But throughout the article, he doesn't walk that back at all. And as far as what Trump can do, I must mention in all fairness, there is one particular claim in this article. Can't remember exactly where it is, but it's something about of how that the Department of Agriculture essentially reimburses people if they were to kill their chickens prematurely before they just naturally die of bird flu.
Fuck that. This is what really pisses me off about this is they're essentially rewarding these egg producers who are the cause of the bird flu. The reason why plagues like this happen is because of the way these assholes raise and abuse their chickens. You breed billions of genetically similar birds and keep them in a tight area their whole lives. Guess what? Disease is going to come from that. That's just the inevitable result of the incredibly unnatural way that they get all these eggs. So egg prices are not too expensive. If anything, they're too cheap.
At least like wait, egg prices you said?
Yeah.
No,
They're too
I'd
cheap,
still say that
but
there's
they still factory farms that gather them still continue to use incredibly cruel farming methods that make chickens suffer and are bad for the environment and make disease more likely. It's very dangerous conditions. It's not a sustainable system.
well, you say that they're too cheap. I'm gonna disagree. Like $7 a dozen seems too expensive, even for like a humane treatment of chickens. Like maybe $3.50 is reasonable for that,
What I
and
mean
you
by
can say
that,
that.
what I mean by that though is the reason why the prices shot up like that was because of a plague caused by these factory farms.
No, I get
What I
that
mean is
much.
the constant desire to make eggs as cheap as possible in most conditions make plagues like that more likely that lead to egg prices skyrocketing and shortages in particular circumstances. So those conditions, those inhumane conditions, are the obsession with making everything as cheap as possible for an obese
Right.
population is what caused it.
And I totally get that, Loudmouth, and I agree that at least to let the chickens like get out and have some fresh air to build up their immune system, that would be a better way of going about that, as opposed to them like keeping in these locked spaces of where that their immune system goes to shit and become more susceptible to bird flu.
Yeah,
But
that's why
even
I
with
make sure all the
even if,
eggs I buy are pasture raised and animal welfare certified.
but even if all chicken companies were to like do it the more humane way, I still think that $7-8 per dozen is like way too high for even that sort of stuff. I mean, I go look at even the cage-free labeled eggs. They are like what at tops $2 more than than the than
Cage free
regular eggs.
doesn't equal cruelty free because often cage free birds, even though they're much better than the caged eggs are, instead of living in battery cages, they're still cramped up in a barn their whole lives. So it's still not a very good life. The best is to try to find a certified humane label and pasture raised. Pasture
It's still a
with
little
those,
better though.
the bird had sufficient time outside as well as sufficient space to roam.
It's still a little bit better though. I will add.
Yeah,
But
cage free is
here was
definitely
the
better than with cages. I refuse to
what?
buy anything that came from extreme confinement.
Okay. Um, and the one paragraph that I want to point out, and why carry out such a massacre, referring to like Biden's order to, or I don't even know if it's like an order necessarily, or a combination of an order plus a kickback that chicken companies are getting. But anyway, and why of why that chickens died. Anyway, and why carry out such a massacre? Because the Department of Agriculture compensates poultry farmers for eliminating flocks that have been exposed to bird flu, but offers no compensation if the birds die from the disease naturally. I'm just going to add the word naturally as an adjective to that. This creates an incentive to slaughter more chickens than may be strictly necessary. President Trump's team is working on solving this problem they inherited, but raising more chickens to lay more eggs takes time. And so essentially, within the last like few months, the chicken farmers they were getting a big kickback, while the American consumer was getting screwed over as far as egg prices and the egg market goes. Just want to point that out. And so, on the point that I was trying to bring up about stuff that Trump could do, like I don't know if this is something that he could do executively or just he would have to like work with Congress and whatnot, but he could like make it or work to make it so that chicken farmers do not get a kickback, get paid for killing their chickens prematurely in the wake of something like this. Maybe it would incentivize chicken farmers to handle future bird flus more smartly so that they don't kill as many chickens prematurely.
Right,
That's
and
my
this
opinion.
is not a uncommon practice among factory farmers. In disasters, they'll frequently just leave their animals to drown to death instead of rescuing them because it's cheaper to write it off as like through their insurance and various farm subsidies will pay them for it
Oh,
than if they spend the
shit.
money to rescue their animals. So it's one example of how these farm subsidies that get pushed out in every farm bill lead to basically wasted money from the taxpayers and lead to animal suffering.
Wow, it sounds like the way you're saying is that it's not because of free market why farmers are so cruel to animals, but because of corporatist subsidies and the like of why that farmers are, or excuse me, big agricultural companies are so cruel to their animals.
Well, it is a little of both. I mean, there are market incentives that favor extreme confinement, but there are also subsidies in farm bills that make the problem worse.
Sure. And question from Steel Fang in the live chat. Hello, by the way, there in the live chat. He asks, do any other birds die from this bird flu? I would assume so, but maybe Loudmouth, you know more.
I'm not aware, but of course, birds obviously are a very diverse class of animals, and thus not all diseases that affect chickens affect ostriches, what have you. So I'm not really sure, but zoonotic diseases can certainly jump between species.
Right. And so on the previous point about kickbacks to poultry companies killing their chickens prematurely, fast forwarding to current day, because the Daily Caller article was actually from a month ago, February 17. This one is March 12th, saying that egg prices have begun to go down. So the chicken industry is kind of recovering. But the thing is with this Newsweek article is that it does not mention that it's from the works of anything that Trump specifically done. No repealing of the chicken killing kickback or anything else like that. Probably just that chicken farmers are catching back up with breeding more chickens and so forth is all that's being done. But regardless, yeah, it doesn't seem to be the help of Trump specifically, but at least they are going down, I guess. So that's good.
Yeah, I guess
would be better if it was done in a more idealistic way that Loudmouth went on about earlier, but all the same. And you know what's the funny thing about this particular article here? Like, I scrolled down to the ranking of this article. I pre-read this article too, by the way, folks. It's apparently Newsweek has this system of where they have like a fairness meter on their articles. So unfair left-leaning, mostly fair left-leaning, fair middle, and mostly fair right-leaning, and unfair right-leaning. And apparently this the ranking of this article was unfair left-leaning, like way in the red on the left. And I'm just thinking to myself, reading through this article, I'm thinking, what the fuck was so unfair about this particular article? Is it just the fact that it like cites that Charlie Kirk said that people should just shut up about egg prices, and not even like ragging that heavily on Charlie Kirk? Like, if anything, me and Loudmouth here have been more harsh on him in this live stream than this article was towards Charlie Kirk. But I guess because that they just mentioned the littlest bit of criticism of Charlie Kirk, there are like some third-party raters who gone sabotaging the rating system to make it look more biased than what the article actually is. People who think that you're not in mostly, if not full lockstep with Trump, that must mean that you're just a far left mainstream media hack or something like that, which is bullshit in my opinion. Right. It's a reason of why that Forbes gets unfairly dragged through the mud, in my honest opinion. Yeah, Forbes has their share of left-wing contributors, but at the same time, they had their share of right-wing pro-free market contributors too. So they're not completely uncredible, but because those leftists exist, they get dismissed as completely uncredible and leftist by people like Aircraft Sparky, for example. It's just frustrating to me. Anyway, I guess moving on to the next subject of conversation. You, of course, saw this clip, right, Loudmouth?
Let's see. Oh, God, yes. Oh, my God.
Get me. Arrest me. Perp walk me. Put me on the news. Tell everyone I'm a human trafficker. You think I'm not versed? You think I'm not ready? I'm a Navy SEAL in this shit. Fucking come get me. Raid my house. Take my stuff. You think I sleep with a full phone full of evidence? You think I don't wipe my phone every night? You think I'm dumb? Come get me. Arrest me. Let's do this all over again.
Yes, we do, Andrew. Yes, we do think you're dumb. You're dumb for saying this very shit right here.
What a fucking moron. I'm genuinely shocked when I heard that one because I'm like, why would they incriminate themselves in such a way? Why would anyone admit to wiping their phone every night if you don't have anything to hide?
Because fucking Andrew Tate has such a big fat fucking ego that just replaces his brain inside his head. Yeah. His brain is completely jacked out of his head, and in place of it is a big fat ego. It's like, I'm tough stuff.
Ever developed a following on anything. He comes across like a cartoon character. He's fucking stupid. And in terms of like that he speaks to like single disaffected men is also total bullshit because he made a whole shit ton of money by scamming lonely men, by scamming incels. He like had some cam girls like fall in love with a bunch with dudes on the internet and get them to send him money.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. To anybody on the right who might be somewhat sympathetic to Andrew Tate, like, I get it. For many years, we have had all this man-hating bullshit that was just run amok of where that you had the Anita Sarkeesians of the world saying that if you enjoy playing a game that features a sexy woman that is in a tight spandex military uniform or whatever, that's sexist. Yeah, I get it. That kind of shit has existed in the past, and so therefore Andrew Tate, that leaves plenty of room for Andrew Tate to come in on the scene and be a bit of a correction on that. But that's the thing. He's an overcorrection is the thing. I mean, practically treating women as property with the way that he traffics them and all that shit, and just go saying that women are completely, utterly stupid. Like, say what you want about differences in sexes, but one thing that sticks out to me that I remember specifically is he said that women don't know how to do taxes. And I don't know about all you folks, but it was actually my mom who taught me how to do taxes and not my dad. So what does that tell you? That, at least in my personal anecdote, not all women are as stupid as Andrew Tate wants to put them all out to be. Yeah, we can talk about...
Most female criminals aren't quite stupid enough to like go on Candace Owens' show and admit that they wipe their phones. So yeah, there you go.
Yes, Andrew Tate is more stupid than most women. And I also want to comment about this. You're talking about tangible evidence right here. Like, I want to actually scroll down to a couple of tweets. First of all, look at this funny meme. Come get me, arrest me, says Andrew Tate. And the chat goes forward to him, and the chat is Florida's Attorney General saying, your terms are acceptable. Fucking based. But scrolling down even further, it's called anything can be twisted as quote unquote evidence. So best not have shit. You have zero common sense. Except that's fucking retarded. It's like, imagine if somebody who was in possession of child porn, say if somebody was to put on a full investigation of Vosh, for example, to take him to court and possibly arrest him and throw him in jail and lock him away and throw away the key.
I mean, nothing in particular, right?
What?
Just as a random example, right?
Yeah, just totally random, totally. But and then he decides to delete all that evidence. Just because he deletes it before the official government investigation happens does not mean that he did not possess the said child porn and therefore should get arrested and put in jail regardless. No, the only thing that means is that it makes it harder to investigate and incriminate is the only thing. Doesn't make you any less of an immoral piece of shit. And, well, thanks for showing the ball right there, Andrew Tate. You are admitting that you are, in fact, an immoral piece of shit. It's like...
It's not the first time he has, but that's got to be the dumbest example. I've heard that, and I'm like, wow.
Still Fang says in the live chat, y'all aren't pro beating of women. Shocker. Yeah, no, I'm not Steven Crowder, so no. Come on, that's funny, Loudmouth. Just admit it.
Unless she wants me to slap her ass.
Oh yeah, okay, that's the acceptable bit of hitting right there. He also says that is a great way of putting it. Tate is the overcorrection of the far left. Exactly. And on a further note as well, like I don't know if I'm like putting forth this argument kind of prematurely or anything like that, but when I go looking at his argument right there, this Danny Estrada guy who said who's justifying Andrew Tate deleting the evidence and whatnot, I almost go thinking of Kyle Rittenhouse and the fact that he pleaded the Fifth. The reason of why that we have Fifth Amendment rights is because somebody might accidentally say something that isn't actually true and kind of incriminates them or makes it harder to defend them. Like, say, there was a possibility. The closest thing that Kyle Rittenhouse would have gotten arrested for, at least for a short term, would have been the gun charge. And that his, I can't remember if his rifle was being alleged to be too short or too long, according to the letter of the law. Imagine if, just for completely arbitrary example, he said that the barrel of his AR was 20 inches, when in all reality, the law said it has to be at least 19 inches for it to be legal. And they actually go looking into it and go finding, oh, actually the rifle is 19 inches. But no, he already said, oh, it's 20 inches long. And so therefore Binger is going to be all like, oh, throw your ass in jail, and so on and so forth. But no, Andrew Tate here is talking about something tangible, like video recordings of him possessing nudes of teenagers or anything else like that, whatever exactly the exact charges are.
I think it's for trafficking teenagers.
Trafficking teenagers. Okay, yeah. Evidence of emails of his contacts and everyone else that is helping him with the trafficking, that sort of stuff. That's tangible as compared to Kyle Rittenhouse. In the example I mentioned there, that would just be a completely false mistake on his part. I did pre-read this article too, by the way, and apparently score one for Ron DeSantis and lose one for Donald Trump, because the basics, according to this article, is that Donald Trump gave, or at least I don't know if it's Trump specifically or just somebody in the Trump administration, gave a pardon
according to Trump, it was someone within the administration.
Someone within the administration that allowed the Tate brothers to come back to the U.S.?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, but Ron DeSantis, he found out about Andrew Tate, and he's pressing charges against him. So, good job on Ron DeSantis right here.
Yep.
I don't know if there's much left to say about that. I guess I do want to play this. Well, I don't know if this is inappropriate or not, but a little bit of evidence on the incrimination of Andrew Tate.
There's a video from 10.
Andrew Tate recorded a sex tape beating a 14-year-old girl. Can't wait until this pedo is locked up.
Years ago that showed me in a sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends.
1 year ago.
There's a video from 10 years ago.
August 23rd, 2022.
That showed me in a sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends. From 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Going back to 2012.
Bitch. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen?
Hello everyone. I just wanted to say something about the video that's been released recently about me and my ex-boyfriend Andrew Tate. Andrew is my still great friend. What you guys saw in the video, it's just what we used to do. It was just pure game.
Oh, it's beating me up. That's totally fine. I totally did not get gaslit into saying the stuff that this admittedly powerful man kind of manipulated me into saying to cover his tracks or whatever. No, it's completely all fine and dandy.
He's a great guy. He would never hurt anyone.
I'm 26, 2024.
Oh,
so
shit.
Shit. I'm no math. Yeah, I'm no mathematician, but back in 2012, she would have been 16 or well, okay, this says 2024, 26. So she would have been like 14, I think.
14.
Yeah.
She would have been 14. Like, oh shit.
You never seen this particular tweet here, Loudmouth, from Drew Pavlou?
No.
Yep, apparently he's okay, if you want to get technical, he's an ephebophile, but I don't give a shit. He was still a fucking underage person groomer.
That'd make him an ephebophile.
Yeah, I mean, either way, doesn't matter. Lock his ass up for this pedophilic type shit.
A video from 10 years ago that showed me in a sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends.
Just what happens, you don't listen. Look at the camera.
The reason why she said 2012, 14, that the screen there is just changing as it's going in the Wayback Machine.
Why are you getting hit? Why are you getting beaten? You don't listen.
Actually, I don't feel comfortable with showing that. I don't want freaking YouTube to strike me down for anything of promoting violence or any shit like that. But so on to the next issue. We're gonna talk a bit about I guess what we can essentially summarize as white identitarianism here, because in case none of y'all have heard, Sam Seder was on Jubilee and he debated a number of different types of right-wingers, people who are allegedly former Biden supporters and then voted for Trump, or at least they wish that they could have changed their vote. Like they regretted their vote in 2024. I don't know what it is. And a couple of the people like were making such stupid arguments that were almost Poe-like, to where that you could almost theorize that they are like Democrat plants, but no one can confirm that, so I'm not going to assert it affirmatively. There was at least one smart person. The only reason why I know this is because I saw Ranting Monkey's coverage of this particular video. But this one right here was the one that I really wanted to talk about, because this kind of shit grinds my gears. So Matt Walsh, sharing this clip, says Sam Seder is offended by her definition of America's identity, but he has no alternative definition. This is how the left plays the game. They condemn your definition but offer no coherent alternative. Their definition of everything is just, quote, not that, unquote. A little bit, you're kind of implying a defense of what she's saying, and the subject matter, as Sam Seder kind of alludes to in his response tweet, I'm impressed how aggressively these guys from Daily Wire are owning white nationalism and theocracy. I'm not going to play guilt by association and say that everybody from Daily Wire is like pro-white identity and white nationalism and shit like that. Although I do know that Matt Walsh himself, at least, has stated opinions before about how that the identity of America is essentially white identity. I'll have to you know what? I wish I re-listened to the clip actually, because I'm kind of butchering the quote. But essentially was mocking the idea that, America is not just the lands, the forests, and the mountains. No, there has to be substantive stuff with America. And he kind of glosses over the Constitution, but he also obsesses over white identity as being a facile part of America's identity. I mean, what do you think, Loudmouth? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Was it
not really? What?
I mean, America was founded on kind of British values. I mean, so values of the British Enlightenment.
Sure, and that's kind of what
it wasn't founded by people from East Asia, or it wasn't founded for people from South Africa. It was founded by men of the British Enlightenment.
Right. I mean, based off of European philosophies, but here, I guess we should just get into the clip to put things in context.
What's the problem with xenophobic nationalism? Don't you think that's better for Americans in general?
Xenophobic nationalism. My problem with all these people that obsess over culture, and I actually have a cousin that I argue with plenty about this. It's like we need to be one single culture. We need to have a little bit of xenophobia, and these people are just not specific enough about what they mean by that. Like, protect the Constitution and free speech and all that stuff. I kind of just view it as
I think our system of democracy works better than other systems. Like someone who will say, well, why you rag on Russia or China? Their authoritarian systems are just as valid as yours. No, I think our system's better. So I'm
exactly
in that regard.
I mean, I agree, and I guess technically you could call me xenophobic in that regard, and the idea that I don't want Sharia law to be an institutionalized thing within our government laws to where that women aren't allowed to drive or whatever. But these people just go acting like any bit of foreign culture is a bad thing. Like, for example, Mexicans coming in to celebrate Cinco de Mayo or wear the sombreros or make their tacos or whatever. I'm going off of stereotypes. I know, granted, people, but fuck it. I don't care if I get called racist. The point remains still, though. If people of other cultures want to bring these more petty and small things to their culture, I say no harm, no foul. But all these people
I'm fine with that as well. But I also think that our system is better than other systems.
All right, I agree with that.
Like xenophobic nationalism is better.
We should have a coherent culture. Everyone should be a part of the same culture. We should have assimilation.
Which do you get to choose?
Assimilation, and I will grant to her that I agree with that. Like, I want people who come into the country to be mandated to at least learn English. I mean, not to mandate them that they speak literally only English 100% of the day, just that they learn it so that they can, potentially speak English with the other people who only speak English. Just as an example. And maybe even take a very basic history test on America. But if they still do their bar mitzvahs in the case of the Jews or worship Buddha in the case of the Chinese or anything like that, that's whatever. That is your right.
Well, Buddhism originated in India, not in China, but yeah, a lot of Chinese, I guess, are Buddhists.
Oh, okay. And fun facts by Loudmouth Reviews, y'all.
Sure is.
We already have a dominant culture.
What is
based
the dominant
on
culture?
European and Christian values and identity. That is
European Christian values and identity. Okay, so the values part, not as much of a stick that I have with, but the identity part of it. Like, was that just a scam call or something you had to actually take?
No, I'll call him back later.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's the identity part that really gets me. Like, and that's probably the bit of where that everybody is getting the implication, oh, she's talking about white identity, and I don't really blame people. In fact, that's what I get too. It's like, it's important that we keep white identity afloat within the country and to be the dominant identity within America. It's like,
yeah, I mean, people who want who believe in the European values of the Enlightenment, I think, are other people want people from like religious theocracy in the Middle East or Northern Africa want to make America more like their home countries. I say fuck that. Or if someone wants to make a country more authoritarian like China or North Korea, I say fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so what you're talking about is like different nations, and I get that, like, and I'm fuck that too as well. But she did not mention just like one single country because within Europe, because let's admit it, Europe is like a wide variety of different general beliefs within each country. Like Russia is completely different from that of modern day UK as far as what their sentiments of culture are. Like, Russia just wants to take over by force some of the surrounding lands to maybe bring back some of their former glory, whereas the UK, I mean, I guess you can go off on a limb and say that they want to unite people together as well, but more by the way of the pen than the way of the gun, I guess is one way to put it. And
I mean, the British Empire mostly collapsed in the middle of the 20th century.
Yeah. But no, I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh yeah, actually, this is one thing that I want to say. I don't even think that we should be based off of a European like identity specifically. I want us to be of our own identity, American identity. Like, yeah, most of Europe might be better than Russia, but I would take a gander that, that America and American identity overall is better than overall European identity, because we are more believing in free speech than most of Europe, and more believing in gun rights and other sort of freedom related stuff. I mean, yeah, sure, Europe is like more free than Muslim countries or modern day communist China, like Loudmouth mentioned, but all the same, as far as the hierarchy of freedom goes, or at least as far as cultural sentiments towards freedom goes, America is better in that regard. I don't want to base our identity off of a European identity. I want to base our identity off of a American identity, which might be kind of circular.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm saying the American identity that we know of was primarily based on British common law, like and the men who founded our country were basically men of a period known as the Enlightenment.
Yes, but I would add the caveat that is a matter of philosophy, not of arbitrary racial identity.
For its own identity. Well, a counter argument to that would be Liberia, which has a government loosely based on the American Constitution, and yet Liberia is not America.
Oh, I don't know much about that. I mean, my counter argument would be, I think, okay. I mean, actually, I guess I don't understand what the counter argument is supposed to be to what I just said, of how that's supposed to be a refutation of what I just said.
I mean, it could. Well, if it's just the Constitution that makes us superior to other countries, then why is America superior to Liberia, since both had a government founded off the U.S. Constitution?
I mean, I think that's equally fine. If there is a country out there that is literally equivalent to America as far as sentiments towards freedom and the like,
well, obviously not. Though Liberia is a very unstable nation that obviously that now has a very loosely functioning government.
Oh, okay.
Despite the fact that it was founded under the U.S. Constitution.
I guess. My thought would be that, wait, is it they actually like copy pasted the U.S. Constitution and used it for their country?
Well, it's not copy pasted, but it was like a part of the founding documents. It was kind of set up to transport free slaves back to Africa. So
interesting.
There was an abolitionist project to send freed slaves back to Africa at the time, and kind of obviously since obviously the descendants of American slaves were from disparate tribes who had kind of lost their cultural identity, there was kind of a project to make their own cultural identity.
Okay, but my question is, the document for Liberia was enshrined in it the values and principles of free speech and gun rights and stuff like that?
Not really. I don't think it really ever went that far. That's kind of the point.
Okay, and well, I guess my point would be, because they weren't like fully ingrained within their culture and their constitution, the same ideas that is ingrained within our constitution, that I'm sorry, I don't think that example is applicable as a refutation.
Okay.
Dominant culture.
White Christian,
it's rooted in European identity.
White. So your argument is
it was founded mostly by white people, yeah, and we kind of failed to get rid of slavery so as to make it so that black people were equal from the get-go to white people. But that does not mean that was the intended purpose of the founding fathers. They just needed to get they needed to get South Carolina and Georgia as part of the Union to sign with them.
Slavery's first mention in the U.S. Constitution is its abolition.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess there's more evidence to say that it's not exclusively for European heritage peoples, lady.
That has been the
it's-
dominant culture.
Just to be
and
clear,
we're not letting people assimilate to that. We're saying you
you're-
should.
I don't like the wording there. We're not letting people assimilate. Like, yeah, we're not mandating people to assimilate, but I don't think that Democrats are going around campaigning saying, "Oh, you're not allowed to assimilate. You're not allowed to learn about American history. You're not allowed to learn English."
You let too many people in at once. It makes it so that people can like form like little cultural centers within the country and not assimilate to the wider culture.
I guess that does make it harder for people to assimilate. So I guess that would be the not allowing. Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
Keep your culture, and this is why our culture is so divided.
your argument is that Trump is good for those
Why our culture is so divided. Are you going to mention the Constitution, or are you talking about other arbitrary stuff?
who want a dominant white European culture.
Okay, so he does specify and ask for clarification, dominant white European culture.
I mean, that is what America is. It's rooted in.
And there's a taker right there. Make it mostly, if not exclusively, a white country. And I say, screw that. Like, as long as they're willing to assimilate culturally in the way of, I say it time and time again, of the Constitution and other stuff like that, then your skin color does not matter. I don't know. What do you think, Loudmouth? Do you have a better way of putting it than I just did?
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
In European identity and Christian values. That's what it has been. Would you really disagree with that? What is it then, if that's not the identity of America?
Well, I think the identity of
For the
America,
majority of time, America's been a country. You don't think that's been the identity?
well, actually,
As just mere coincidence. That does not mean that that was the intended purpose
It's
of
not
it.
mere coincidence, dude. It is not.
What?
That's a very simplistic view of history. Yeah, yes, America is a very different place because it was founded by white Protestants. If it were founded by Buddhists from overseas, it would be a very different country. If it were founded by South Africans, it would be a very different country. I mean, there were native cultures on this continent for 10,000 years prior to the United States, and obviously none of them were the United States. A lot of them all had very different modes of living. United States very much is rooted in where it came from, which was European Protestantism.
I guess the word coincidence might be the wrong adjective of what I'm trying to say here, but maybe happenstance? Like, yeah, it's just by happenstance that we were like mostly white people and Native Americans too, if you want to like include them, although they weren't officially citizens or anything like that. And it's not like we started having an influx of brown people or Asian people or anyone else like that to come in as early as freaking 1800 or anything like that. It would be until like the mid 1900s or something like that of when that it would get more, let's say, to put it bluntly, colorful. But
I mean, Mexico was founded by Catholic Spaniards, whereas America was founded by Protestant Englishmen. You can see the vast cultural divide there.
Sure, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's not like the founding fathers or anyone was explicitly trying to say no non-whites allowed within our country. Whereas she's kind of acting like as if that is the case. I mean,
don't really think she directly said that, though.
She didn't directly say that, but she said, "Oh, we were. That's how it was. We were mostly white."
What she said is accurate.
Huh?
What she said is totally accurate.
I know, I get that, but that's and I, as I obviously said, I agree that we have been mostly white, and even still right now, until like most of the boomer generation dies, still a mostly white country. But she's making that her response to his point on why that
I mean,
trying to
Hispanics have generally been considered white throughout most of American history. It was only they were only really divided into like a non-white identity kind of in the 70s. Because Nixon kind of started creating the divide. Then most of American history they generally have. So if you view them as white, then America will remain a mostly white nation for some time.
All right. Well, take that up to all the PC liberals who want to say that they're not white, though.
I mean, well, honestly, though, human races are kind of a hard thing to like exactly square, because obviously we're all the same species. So ultimately, where you divide certain traits into certain racial categories is kind of arbitrary.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking of not giving a shit about arbitrary stuff, Steel Fang says, I don't care about skin color. I care about if you are pro-life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
Based.
No, I think actually the identity of America has been, for better or for worse, a melting pot in that regard.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, like, how many people have you been hearing in recent years go using the term melting pot as a pejorative term, as if that's a bad thing, Loudmouth?
Generally, they only do it as a pejorative to say that it isn't working and we're not people aren't melting enough. It's generally when people use it as a pejorative.
Right. Well, the one aforementioned cousin that I said earlier, and y'all can probably guess who I'm referring to, but goes using the term melting pot as a pejorative, as if the term melting pot is some leftist term to say, oh, we need to be culturally diverse, as opposed to melting pot being a term to as a pro-assimilation kind of term. When I grew up listening to Mark Levin, he used the term melting pot repeated times to say to kind of say that in the past we have been assimilating, whereas now we're not really assimilating, so we're no longer a melting pot, as he would put it. And he says, quote unquote, we're more like vegetable soup. His words, not mine, as opposed to a melting pot. So there's a new recent trend of saying that a melting pot is like a leftist term of, cultural diversity, multiculturalism, or whatever. It's just a new thing to me. And I don't get it. Anyway.
Yeah, maybe since like the 1960s. Even then, even we had this idea of a melting pot literally means assimilation too. It means melting. It means you're assimilating to the dominant culture.
Okay, the way that she defined it right there, I guess she isn't so hardline into believing that the term melting pot is a leftist term. But anyway.
Is that not what melting means?
No, it doesn't.
And now instead we're saying there's something wrong with xenophobia.
Culture.
Okay, you're not. It doesn't mean that you're not assimilating to the dominant culture. Well, keep in mind that her view of the dominant culture is a bit of a skewed one. She's like tying in racial identity with the idea of the dominant culture, but it does mean you're assimilating to the dominant culture. And the dominant culture, in the case of America, is being for the U.S. Constitution, and of course, learning English and some other basic stuff that I'm sure that we could think of that I'm not able to right now. That is exactly what it means, or at least what it did mean. But I guess with the help of Sam Seder and people on the, quite frankly, the dissident right, they're spurring along this redefinition of the word. And I fucking hate it.
No. I mean, look, I got to be honest with you. Like, you and I have a fundamental disagreement. We will never see eye to eye on this. It's a choice. And I think what you're expressing, though, is...
And I agree. People do have the choice to continue making their tacos and celebrating the bar mitzvahs and other stuff like that.
Really what the Trump movement at its heart is about. And I think that's problematic.
I disagree. I don't think Trump's like anywhere close to being a Christian nationalist. That's
all right. And Just a little bit of a pause for copyright sake, because I guess Jubilee is a bit sensitive for with their copyright claiming. I'm kind of taking a risk of playing this video at all, but then again, it was kind of shrunk down to just show the faces, like if this was a TikTok reel.
Ridiculous. Like Trump's basically a Democrat from like 15 years ago when it comes to social
So you
issues.
don't think that he's conservative
No,
enough for you?
Oh, definitely. Nowhere close. No.
He's not xenophobic enough for you?
No, he's trying to pour a bunch of H1.
What was your opinion about the whole H1Bs issue, by the way, just out of curiosity?
It's kind of complicated, but it's true that America does benefit from skilled foreign workers in certain areas.
Yeah, I mean, it is really complicated. I remember like Sitch and Adam commentating about it, and they gave kind of a comprehensive breakdown of the issue. Maybe I should go back and listen to it again. But I guess the thing with the H-1Bs is that it's being too easily exploited by people. For example, people who want to come into America to work as a janitor or a hamburger flipper or something.
Well, I'm just think that if you do exploit them and you are here to cause trouble, you should be sent the fuck back. Like that one, what's his name? That Khalid guy. I'm 100% for sending that guy back.
Mahmoud Khalil.
Yeah, Mahmoud Khalil, whatever his name is. But I'm just definitely for sending that asshole back, because a guy who's comes to my country and advocates for the death of Western civilization. Yeah, if you don't like Western civilization, then get the fuck out.
Based.
Yeah.
Bees, are you kidding?
Right. Oh, so you want to get them out too? Yeah. No, I mean, I think you're making my argument for.
Well, me personally, I only want to get out the, or at least not allow any more of the people who are coming in on H-1Bs for just super cheap labor that could very easily be used by a young American-born teenager instead.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Whereas I think the lady right there just wants like all H-1Bs turned down, if I had to guess.
For me.
Okay, that was pretty much it anyways. Oh yeah, just had some thoughts to go off my chest about that one. Not much to it, but still.
Yeah.
As a gay man, Islam is a fake and gay religion. It's a still thing. By the way, I like your
fake, but whatever. Okay.
What?
Said I think all religions are fake, so yeah.
Can I? I cannot. Okay, never mind. There's something about the approval process in the YouTube live chat, but in the StreamYard live chat, I'm pulling up. Hell yeah, send that shitbag back. I'm sure he's referring to Mahmoud Khalil. Still famous.
Yeah. Send him the fuck out of here.
What was the name of the?
As far as I'm concerned, a green card holder is a guest in my country, and if you're a badly behaved guest, you get the fuck out of my home.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would we allow people who explicitly hate our country to, who aren't even like natively born, to stay in our country? Like, it's one thing if you are like slightly critical of the country, like you're like, oh, I believe in universal background checks for getting guns. I want to check your mental health, all that stuff. But if you're going to say, let's overturn the U.S. Constitution, burn the American flag, destroy the U.S. state capitol, it's like, no, fuck you, get the fuck out.
Yeah, get him the fuck out of here. And him basically terrorizing Jewish students on campus. Fuck him. Fuck all those. Yeah. Fuck all those free Palestine dipshits. I wish we could send them all back.
He was actually that was what he was. He was one of the leaders of the Columbia University protest, wasn't he?
Yeah, those guys who basically pro Hamas.
Right. Another moderator.
And make no mistake, they were advocating for violence, for violent jihad at these protests. Not only should that guy absolutely be sent back, but a lot of them should be arrested for inciting terrorism.
Yeah. By the way, what's the name of the villain of Balto? Remind me again.
Steele. It was. I remember. I haven't watched that movie in like 25 years.
Oh, okay. I guess thus explains why Steel Fang here is has the name Steel Fang. But I just noticed that that's what he has as his profile picture as the main villain of Balto. Nice profile picture. Well, anyway, I think that's about it for what we have to talk about. At least what I have to talk about. Loudmouth.
All right. Yeah, I'm
there's
sack, but good chatting with y'all.
There's actually one more live chat. Ilhan Omar puts her loyalty to her old country. She needs to be thrown out of this country. I wonder if how easily that can be done with somebody who's like actually naturalized to the country. Like, what's the naturalization status of Ilhan Omar? Do you know?
She's a naturalized citizen, so obviously you can't do that. But Khalil Mahmoud, he's a green card holder, so they totally can revoke those.
Okay, so a little bit harder for a U.S. politician who is naturalized, but yeah. Anyway, that's about it, y'all. Thank you, Steel Fang, for contributing in the live chat, and thank you all who have listened and will listen in the future. And we'll see y'all later next time.
All right,
God bless.